NewsX and I'm Megha Sharma. Lieutenant General Dheeraj Seth will assume charge as the new Chief of Army Staff of the Indian Army tomorrow. He will take command of the Indian Army following the retirement of the current Army Chief. With more than 39 years of military experience, General Dheeraj Seth is currently the Vice Chief of Army Staff. Affiliated with the Armoured Corps, General Seth has undertaken several key operational and strategic responsibilities during his career. As Army Chief, he will face critical challenges such as the modernization of the Indian Army, theaterization, border security and strengthening defense capabilities. Pragati is on the telecast with me. Pragati, shed more light into the new Army Chief who will be taking his position tomorrow after Upendra Dwivedi, the current Chief of Army Staff, will be stepping down.
Well, Megha, the Indian Army is, set for a change in the leadership as Lieutenant General Dheeraj Seth takes over the, he's taking over as the country's next Chief of Army Staff. Tomorrow, he'll be succeeding the outgoing Army Chief at the time when the Army is undergoing a major transformation to meet, evolving security challenges. Let's talk about Lieutenant General Seth. He brings with him over 39 years of distinguished military service, an officer from the Armored Corps. He is currently serving as the Vice Chief of Army Staff and has held several important command, staff and strategic appointments throughout his career. His experience spans operational deployment, military planning and force development, making him one of the Army's most senior and experienced officers.
Right, absolutely. Pragati, thank you for giving us that information. All right, the big debate of the hour. The Indian Army is undertaking one of its biggest organizational reforms in decades. It is beginning the rollout of the Integrated Battle Groups, or IBGs as they're called, which is a new combat structure designed to make the army faster, more agile and better prepared for modern warfare. Instead of bringing together infantry, armor, artillery, engineers and logistics only after a crisis begins, every integrated battle group will be a self-contained fighting formation of around 5,000 soldiers. The aim is to reduce mobilization time to between 12 and 48 hours, allowing the army to respond more quickly to emerging threats. The concept was first proposed by General Bipin Rawat in 2018 when he was the Army Chief of the country. It was tested during two exercises, one in the western border and the other one on the eastern theatre. It is now being operationalized, beginning with the Brahmastra Corps. To discuss this more and in detail, I'm being joined by Major General G.G. Dwivedi. G. Dwivedi has commanded the Mountain Division of on the line of actual control in the northeast. Thank you very much for joining us. And of course, I do want to understand from you more comprehensively, if you could give us an insight into this entire process of establishing and operationalizing of the integrated battle groups. Starting July of 1st, it has been advanced. Earlier, it was to be established and operationalized by September 2026. The date has been moved to 1st of July. And it has been, sir, 7 years in the making for this big change to happen.
Megha, firstly, thanks for having me on your show. Well, we need to first understand the rationality and then go on to what the structuring taking place. The rationality is today, the warfare has undergone paradigm change, and wars today are, firstly, they get orchestrated at a very short notice. Whether you take Ukraine war, suddenly President Putin decided to attack Ukraine on 24th Feb, or the Hamas on 7th October, or come to Iran, on 28th February, suddenly the attacks come and close the home. In 2020 May, the Chinese 6 divisions, and 8 mechanized, they walked into the Ladakh area. Now the point is that in case you do not react in a very quick time frame, then you give the adversary the first mover advantage. Now that is the basic rationale, and I commanded the strike division, not only defensive division, And when division is asked to deploy, it has about 18 to 20,000 troops. And it has all the components. It has the infantry brigades, artillery brigade, then it has engineers, signals, all these logistic component. But the point is, when you get the division to deploy, it takes time, maybe 72 hours. Now, here is the issue that to cut down time, we have gone in now for the integrated battle groups. They are the lighter formations, about 5,000 troops, but they have the component of artillery, signal, engineers and all. But the 2 points I want to make very clear, why we have taken so much time. You see, let's take Chinese, and I have been defense attaché, follow them very closely. The Chinese went on for reforms after Xi Jinping came to power in 2013. They first issued the white papers, 3 white papers issued by Xi Jinping, 2015, 2019, 2025. Then they went on to have a very clear doctrine of limited wars. Then they created the infrastructure to prosecute higher direction, that is Central Military Commission. Then they came to theatre commands. Then they came to the strike, their course. And then they came to the heavy brigades. They have the 3 types, the heavy brigade, the light brigade, the medium brigade, the airborne brigade. Now we have started from the opposite direction. We are first looking at the tactical and the operational aspects, and that's why our theatre commands have not seen the light of the day, even after 7 years, because, Megha, first you have to have a national security strategy, you have to have war fighting doctrines, then you operationalize the formations. But nonetheless, our process has started, and this will ensure that now the 4 of the integrated battle groups are being created from the 2 divisions, and these will be ones which can actually get deployed in 12 to 24 hours or about that time, depending upon what are the contingencies. So, in nutshell, the restructuring is actually requires to fight the modern wars that we agile, swift, and at a very short notice.
Okay, all right. And when you talk about, the big challenges that India has to face, whether it is on the western border or on the eastern theatre, how tangible is the threat? How well prepared are we as compared to our adversaries, particularly along the line of actual control?
Well, Megha, the point is that when you look at the threats are very dynamic, and they have to be seen in different timelines. Today, 2 things are very clear.
TV channel. I'll come.
Today, please, can you cut it
10 minutes.
Can you cut it out? Yeah. What is happening is that today, we are having the contested borders. Our LAC is contested, our LOC is contested. So when the borders are contested, the threat is all pervasive. More than that, we are also having a threat of proxy wars.
Yeah.
So therefore, when we look at the threat, we have to take in 2 spectrums. One is the conventional wars, and one are the low intensity or the proxy wars. For that, I'm sure the people in the chairs or the planners have taken adequate steps. But preparation are ongoing process. There's never a 100% preparation. Preparations are in consonance with the opponent capability and your capacity building.
Okay, all right, absolutely. Thank you for giving us that detailed, encapsulated information about these new integrated battle groups that are very soon going to be a reality for the Indian Army. I'm also being joined by Major General Sudhakar ji. General Sudhakar, when there are these new ways of fighting wars, there has been a statement that has already been made earlier today by General Upendra Dwivedi, who is the outgoing Chief of Army Staff, talking about how India has been able to procure over 50,000 drones from a meager quantity of a few thousands in the last 4 to 5 years. And we see the war taking place in West Asia, where drone technology is extremely efficient. Whether we take a look at the Ukraine-Russia war, or for that matter, when Indian strikes on Pakistan were retaliated by Islamabad through those drone strikes, although unsuccessful. How integral and important a role does reinventing the armed forces, whether by way of defense equipment or by way of transforming the way our battalions function?
Megha, good evening. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me for your show, and my warm greetings to distinguished and esteemed co-panelists. General Dwivedi has already given out the primer, painted the primer on the canvas. And your question is pointedly asking about the modernization that Indian Army has undergone and in a quick time frame. And I would say, without any double meaning, thanks to Galwan incident that happened in June 2020. Thereafter, India has got very deep meaning, kind of a wake-up call, and we have doubled down in a significant manner. Till 2020, if I respect my memory, study, and research, Pakistan was miles ahead in drone technology. You have specifically, pointedly, you have asked about the drone technology. It was 10 years ahead of India. But between 2020 and 2026, India, perhaps I'll not be wrong to say, it may not be far, far better than Pakistan, but it is not anything less. We have gone by leaps and bounds in this the preceding 5 or 6 years. But having said that, you also used a word called integration. When you talk about the integration, it is in relation to what your adversary is doing. The adversary has undertaken significant and structural changes from the year 2015. They have been talking about it since mid 80s, but factually and effectively they undertook modernization of Chinese army or armed forces from 2015 on different names. The names are very funny. They sound AIization, informatization, AIization. So people may not be able to understand all this. What it means is they basically are making it tailored made for the terrain, number one. Number two, rapid mobilization. They used to take 2 seasons, 2 long years to mobilize the forces to come onto the border with India at one point in time. And I have also been along the line of actual control. But the time came in 2011 when we saw suddenly that China, instead of 2 years, is able to mobilize within one season. That is, they have a campaigning season known as May to October. It is from 1st of May every year till 1st of October. October is the raising day, 1st October, OPRC.
Yeah,
So
okay.
they mobilizing. And last but not the least, therefore, India has gone in order to have a matching counter strategy. The counter strategy has got Rudra Brigade, it has got Asni platoons, it has got Devastar batteries, it has got there is something between Rudra Brigade is the integrated brigade. It has got armor, infantry, it has got artillery, it has got air defense, it has got engineers.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah, absolutely. In all terms, it is an integration and something that is the need of the hour, that at this point of time is being adopted by the Indian Armed Forces. I'm also being joined right now by Group Captain MJ Augustine Vinod. Thank you very much for joining us, speaking to us. I do want to understand from you, in wake of, just a few days ago, there has been this big announcement that has been made between China and Bangladesh and the Mongla port deal that has been signed. How challenging a task it is for India to be prepared enough and powerful enough to deter the adversary, especially along the line of actual control, keeping in mind this particular battle group, the integrated battle group, is also going to be carved out of the 17th MSC, which is the Mountain Strike Corps, which is located in Panagarh, which is in Bengal, which traditionally is created to fight any threats coming in along the line of actual control.
Thank you, Megha, for having me over on this particular topic. I was the CATS for the Center for Air Tracking and Strike Planning for Aerial Warfare in Eastern Air Command, and it was under my watch that Panagarh we resurrected from being or a satellite base to a fully functional base with placing C-130J, the Hercules there. And a very, very important topic that we are discussing today. See, IBG, I mean, something similar to IBG in the times of war, we do create, which General alluded to in the passing. but IBG as as in a formalized manner and in the wake of theater command is absolutely a welcome step, and especially coming up in Panagarh will also involve an Air Force element as well as a naval element in the wake of what you just covered, the cooperation between Bangladesh and China, which includes the inland water transport, that Indian Army holds. But so Indian Army, in some sense, is also, working like Navy when you're talking about an IWT assets that Indian Army holds. Be that as it may, let's come to specifically this particular aspect of IBG. It is going to be mission-oriented, tailor-made, and specific to theater. So specific to theater is the key word here. So if if the theater is has got all the three elements, then you will have the naval element also. If the theater has got where that softening of target is involved or mountains is involved, then the theater may be, or the IBG may be artillery heavy as well as air heavy, including the attack helicopter heavy. So, like many air forces, no land force or air force or navy by themselves can fight or win a war. I mean, control of the skies becomes very, very important. We saw that during Sindoor. So Indian Air Force now creates a condition which allows Army or Navy to operate effectively by suppressing enemy defenses, destroy their logistics, command centers, provide close air support to troops in contact, troops coming into contact, transport reinforcement, evacuate casualties, carry out supplies, give ISR. That means even in the planning stage, Indian Air Force dovetails with satellites, drones, and aircraft imagery. So it is going to be a complex affair with an IBG headquarter having all the three elements sitting down. Now, quickly, six important aspects why India has moved to IBG, which our viewers need to understand. A, faster mobilization. It is going to be a theater-specific package, and C, it is going to integrate all the combat arms together in an integrated manner with somebody calling the shots ab initio. And it is going to have a greater operational flexibility, which is going to reduce something called the OODA loop, the observe, orientate, direct, and act loop. The OODA loop is going to be compressed very, very rapidly, maybe down to minutes. Earlier, it used to take hours, sometimes even days. And it is going to be for short, intense, and a high tempo conflict, which is what we are used to. We saw that during Sindoor, Mega.
Yeah, absolutely. Quickly getting in my fourth panelist into the conversation, Commodore Bhushan Diwan is a former Indian Navy officer. Commodore Diwan, this has been organically done within our core previously as well. But when you formalize this, how does this make the Indian Army and the Indian Navy, who comes out and supports these integrated battle groups, as well as the Indian Air Force, how does this formalization help in building our defense forces, making them much stronger?
Thank you, Megha. You know, the IBGs are tailored for terrain, threat, and task. And as my previous panelist spoke, this OOAD loop, we observe the environment. You need to have the eyes in the sky, Ashni platoons, who can, scan with the radars and AI and all that, feed you with what is happening around you. Then you observe, and then next O, organize an attack and design an attack. So this planning cycle needs to be shortened in this area, in this current era of miniaturization, drone technology, AI. You can't have a leisurely time of, somebody will do observation, then keep analyzing it, then keep taking a decision, so on and so forth. Doesn't work. Let me give you a concrete example of an IBG in, let us say, under ANC. ANC, Andaman Nicobar Command, is the first integrated command that the armed forces of India have seen for many years, operating quite successfully. So there, for example, we may have a Malacca IBG. Malacca IBG meaning, if IBG has to work, first thing is, as we said, observing the radar and the AI system, which is feeding you the environment, awareness of the battlefield. Second is having decided, first thing is you have to breach the enemy. Let us say there are amphibious forces, Bhairav battalions, about 1,000 strong people, some with para forces, special forces. Let's say a particular island has to be in Sedan has to be captured, or Malacca Strait has to be breached.
Yeah.
So breaching, that is the that element comes in within the IBG. Bhairav battalion comes into picture. See, IBG is around 5,000, as you also pointed out. Within that, a battalion of this Bhairav, teeth, no tail, only teeth. Then thereafter, so this amphibious IBG, it is going to have light tanks, very little, but commando troops, and then landing onto the islands, and then some with small arms, some with partly naval commandos. So this is the kind of integration which will be happening. So this is the case of
Right.
Tailored to terrain and task. Terrain, theatre, and task.
Right.
So this is what is IBG. So this is truly a case in everywhere. When you go to desert, it's a different story.
Yeah,
You may
absolutely. Okay, I thank you very much for joining me, and I thank all my other panelists also for being part of this conversation and giving us their insights. On that note, I slip into a short break. Thanks for watching NewsX.